Students, the next type that we are going to study is button type. When we use button, it is going to display a button on the form. When we use input type equal to button, it will display a button on the web page. Let us understand this with the code. We'll start with the body tag, body, H1 form. So here we can see a heading form, input type equal to button. Now here you can observe on the web page we can see a small button. However, no text is written on the button. By default, button has no text. To add text, we have to use value attribute. Value equal to, let's write click. Let us save this and refresh. So here we can observe click. The text which we are going to write for value will be displayed inside the text box. The other attributes, that is size, max length, checked, cannot be used with input type equal to button. However, we can use name attribute. Name is just going to indicate to the browser this particular button has name as B1. Nothing will be displayed on the web page. There is no change on the web page. Now, after we have learned about input type equal to button, we are going to learn about input type equal to submit and input type equal to reset. Students, here we have the code for input type is submit and input type is reset. Let us start with the body tag. Body, H1 form. So, form is the heading of the web page. Enter name. Input type is text box. Name equal to T1. So here, enter name is printed as it is. Input type is text box is going to show us a single line text box and name of this text box is T1. Then we have BR which is going to work as an enter key. Input type is submit. Input type is reset. So here we have a button as submit and a button as reset. Form closes, body closes and HTML closes. Input and reset are special buttons. When we press these buttons, a function is performed by the browser. We'll enter some text in the text box and let us click on reset button. When we click on the reset button, all the values in the form will be cleared and will set to the default value. So this is the work of reset button. Next is submit button. So here, if we put some values and we click on submit, the values will be submitted to the server. To understand how these values are submitted, we are going to study the remaining attributes of form. First attribute of form that we have to study is action. Action equal to mypage.php. Students, we have not created mypage.php. We are just using this for our understanding purpose. Action attribute is going to take name of the file where the values of the form should be submitted when we click on submit button. So let us save this file and check the output. Save, refresh, and again we will enter some values and click on submit button. Once we click on submit button, you can see your file couldn't be accessed. This is because we do not have a file by the name mypage.php. But here we can be sure that after clicking on submit, it is going to the particular file which is specified in action attribute. So let us go back. I hope students you have understood the work of submit and reset button. The next attribute of form that we have to study is method. Method has two values, get and post. Get is the default value. We will save this. Let's refresh One more time we will enter some value and click on submit. Students, observe the address bar. T1 equal to ABC. T1 is name of the text box. ABC is the value which is entered in the text box. Whenever we are using get method, the values which are sent to the file that is specified in action attribute will be displayed in the address bar. Hence, get method is not a secure method. Students, let us look at the post method also. Post, file, save. Let us go back to the form and refresh the page. One more time we will enter and click on submit. Now here, when we click on submit, over here you can observe the values are not displayed in the address bar. Thus, post is a secured method. Thus, method has two values, get and post. I hope students you have understood the difference between the two. In your exams, many of the times you get a question which are the different values of method attribute. So the answer will be get and post. Now let us come to the attributes for input. Over here, when we use input type equal to submit or input type equal to reset, size, max length and checked attribute will not work. Name attribute can be used. Name equal to B1. Now here, name is going to indicate a name for that particular button. It will not be shown in the browser. And the last attribute is value attribute. Value equal to some text. If you will specify the value, that value will be displayed inside the button. Let us save this and refresh. So here you can observe the value changes to go. However, the work of submit button will not change. Whenever we click on the go button, the values which are written in the form will be submitted to the file specified in action attribute. So these are the different values that we can use for type attribute of input type. Students, let's just quickly go through these type one more time. The first one is text. It is used to create a single line text box and we can enter the text. This is the default value. Please remember the default value is text. Next one is password. It is used to create a single line text box to enter text. However, the text which we are going to enter will be masked to a special character. Next one, radio. It is going to create radio buttons so that we can select one option in the group. Here, you have to remember the name attribute for radio buttons in a group must be same. The next one is checkbox. It is going to create checkboxes and it allows multiple selection. Input type equal to button. It is going to create a button which activates on an event. We are going to study events in JavaScript. Next, input type equal to submit. This is also going to create a button and send the data to the server for processing. And the last one is input type equal to reset. It is going to create a button which is going to reset the values of the form to the original state. This is all about the first element that can be used in form tag. Next time we are going to study the next element, that is text area. Thank you, students.